Okay, pleasant afternoon and welcome to this particular
It's
session.
12 o'clock.
Yes, my name is Joel Omike, and I'll be taking the conversation on strategic planning and execution. This is one of the webinar series from P4PE Institute. Today, we shall be exploring how you can design your strategy with clear goals and also with clear objectives, as the case is. P4PE Institute, through its P4PETalks, offers this particular free webinar on a monthly basis. It gives you the opportunity for you to develop yourself, your team, and also to use expert insights from some of the things we have done in terms of our consulting work, training, research, and information that you find very useful too. The organization P4PE Institute is an enabler in providing business solutions across multiple markets and industries. We help executives to advance, to grow, to achieve results. We are Africa's mid-sized community growth advisor, as the case is. We are well known for our training and capacity building programs, our consulting and advisory services, and of course, our research programs across various institutions. We've had the privilege to work with various industries in aviation, in transport, in financial services, manufacturing, ICT and energy, public sector, NGOs, and even consulting firms like our own. We are focused on business growth strategies. And this session is one of the conversations around organizational and business growth. We are also involved with organizational development, helping you to build systems and put processes in place. We also help with HR transformation and also AI and data analytics. All right, thank you. If you notice, we have been privileged to host various programs in various areas and various institutions across board in multiple industries, as the case is. These are some pictures from some of the recent programs we've held, and also programs that indicate that organizations find some value with some of the conversations we've had with them, and we're able to deliver this value across board, as the case is. Okay, so that's P4PE Institute. And like I said earlier, my name is Joel Omike, and I've had an interesting career in the past 27 years or thereabout, helping executives to advance, to develop, and to grow. I'm a trusted advisor. I'm an author. I've written a couple of books. I'm a speaker. I'm a coach, and I'm popularly referred to as the HRGodfather. When I am doing nothing and there's no business and nothing to do, I find time to go back to the farm. And I own a very fantastic farm, as the case is. I have a deep experience in financial industries, in tech firms, fintechs, manufacturing, FMCG, in service industries, and also in energy, as the case is. I write very often on LinkedIn. So if you are following me, you will notice some of my popular write-ups on Fire Your HR, which is a weekly post that helps HR to transform and continue to build fantastic results. And also from the HRGodfather's desk, which is focused on leadership and executives to continue to transform and lead their organization. So once again, I say welcome and welcome to this particular session. Like we promised in our adverts and communication of this particular program, it is going to be very, very interesting. But for us to get the best from it, I encourage you to engage in conversations, in discussions, try and use the features of the platform. Raise your hand when you want to speak. I'll most probably find you and I will invite you to have a conversation at the end of the discourse. And we're also going to have some questions and answers so we can discuss in depth. As you join, usually our devices are unmuted. So when you join, please try and mute yourself and only share when you are invited. Feel free to turn on your video, but please don't allow it to distract you or to distract others also. Feel free also to use the comment section. Once you share anything in the comments, I will identify and use it. Try to repost some of the things we say on the conversation that resonates with you. If you think a point was made and it makes sense to you, share an emoji. All right, that helps others understand that you're interacting and relating with the content. Feel free also to share it on social media. Take screenshots of whatever you find during this particular session as we advance to ensure you get the best from it. Okay, that said, let's get into the discussion. So our discourse is on strategic planning and execution. Our time is very short, so we're going to make the best use of the 1 hour we'll have at this point in time. Imagine that you are designing tomorrow. What will be the ingredients in tomorrow's strategy plan? Depends on the function you're coming from. Will you think growth? Will you think alignment? Will you think entering new markets? Or perhaps even starting a new endeavor, creating a new business plan? Or could it be creating new products, new solutions as you progress into 2026? What exactly do you see in 2026 that you want to take advantage of, that you want to plan for as you progress into that particular environment? More importantly, this is the season of strategy planning by a lot of organizations. A lot of organizations usually plan their next year in November, December. There are some early starters that have already started planning in October, and we've done a couple of strategy retreats in October already. And we just did one also this particular week, and there is a couple also coming up next month. So organizations are planning for tomorrow. What are the things you should look out for if you're designing and planning for strategy? If your organization uses a balanced scorecard, or you use KPI, or you use a scorecard, some kind of scorecard system to measure corporate performance, to track organizational results as the case is, or even you're able to cascade it down to your employees, what are the things that the scorecard should contain? Are you one of those people who are relatively afraid of the balanced scorecard? Some say it is a very large tool, a complex tool, difficult to understand, is difficult to use as the case is. But in this particular session, we can demystify all of them and ensure that you're able to get the greatest results and outcome from the use of your platforms as the case is. All right, beautiful. So we shall clarify and articulate objectives as the case is. What is our roadmap as we progress? We'll see how you can create a baseline of your current operations, because you can't progress into the future if you're not clear about where you are currently. We'll also look at how you can define your objectives and plan the execution of those particular objectives very well. And then I'll share with you a roadmap that you can use in order to achieve these particular results. And then a few conversations around alignment, around achievement, as the case is. Now, what will this session not cover? We will not create strategy maps. We will not build the KPIs of organizations as the case is. 1 hour is too short a time to be able to do that as the case is. We will share a couple of templates, a couple of frameworks as we discuss. We will share experiences. I invite you to also contribute to these experiences when we do share them down the line as the case is. All right, so let's start off by looking at our roadmap. The strategy planning and execution roadmap. According to Stephen Covey, I'm sure you're familiar with his works. In one of his most popular books, the 7 habits of highly effective people. One of the habits there says, begin with the end in mind. When you begin with the end in mind, right, it means that you must see the future first, and the future is the end. And when it comes to strategy, as the case is, the future is always the vision of the organization at that point in time. So that is the end we expect you to begin with. So the first step in your strategy planning and execution is to be very clear about your destination. Where are we going? Absolutely clear. You must be clear about where you're going to. And we prefer you write it down, note it down, document it, commit it to paper. All right? If you're having a strategy retreat, one of the first things the team should agree on is what the future should look like. We want to become #1 in the industry. We want to have 10 branches. We want to spread to 12 African countries. Whatever it is, we must be clear about it before we start at that point in time. That clarity makes every other thing aligned to it at that point in time. Now, once you're clear where you're going to, right, you now have to look at, as a second requirement, right, do some scanning, internal scan, understand your strength, understand your weakness. We call it SWOT analysis. Look at what is happening in your environment, right? What is the politics saying? What is our economy doing as the cases? They refer to all those as your PESTEL analysis as the cases. So run those analyses. When you're done with your analysis, you will come up with what we refer to as your baseline. Your baseline. Your baseline is referring to your status today, where you currently are. Assuming you say your vision is to become #1, what number are you currently? Maybe you're #5, you're #7. That #5 or 7 is referred to your baseline. You want to spread across 5 African countries, right? That's your vision. Currently, how many African countries are you in? If you're in 2, that's your baseline. We want to grow our revenue up to 1 billion naira. All right, that's the future. What's your current revenue? If your current revenue is 200 million, that's your baseline. You want to expand across various areas. You want to start new companies. How many companies do you have? I want to add more products. How many products do I have? All those conversations are called baseline. Baseline refers to your current state, current status, where you are at that point in time. No strategy is complete without an understanding of where we are. Before you begin to say how we are going to get to tomorrow, our destination, you must be clear where you're coming from, as the case is. So I am here at Allen Avenue, Ikeja. That's where our office is. Now, if I say I want to go to, say, Victoria Island, the road I will take is going to be different if I were in Apapa. It will be different if I were in Lekki. So the baseline where you currently are determines the road you're going to take to get to the future at that point in time. The second item, when you're gathering your facts, when you do your analysis, as the case is you then identify the gap. Now I know where we're going to, our destination. I know where we are, current state. What is the gap between here and there? And that's called gap analysis. And there are various tools for doing gap analysis, as the case is. For the examples I gave initially, you want to become #1, but you're #5. So the gap between 1 and 5 is 4. So you have 4 companies to beat before you become #1. You want to have 10 branches. You're currently having 2. So the gap here is 8. There are 8 branches you must open in order to achieve your 10 branches. You want to be in 12 African countries. You are currently in just 1 country or 2 countries. So between here and your future is 10 countries, as the case is. You want to achieve a revenue of 1 billion, but you are currently making 200 million. So the gap between here and 1 billion is 750 million. Simple and clear. Before you now move into the question is, okay, now I know where I am. I know where I'm going to. I know how much I must achieve. What do I do next? And that brings us to point number 4. What do you do in order to move? Now that you're clear about your gap analysis, you now have to identify what the market looks like, your strategy for achieving that direction, that future, that destination that you're going to at that point in time, all right? And so here you need to devise your hypothesis and actually prove it. And this is for those who are academically inclined, all right? Especially the consultants amongst us in this call as the case is. But for the rest of us, what you need is a strategy map. And that strategy map is like a diagram between where I am to where I'm going to get to as the case is. This strategy might be saying, I'm in Nigeria, I'm in Ghana, but I want to achieve 7 other countries. In that country include Ivory Coast, it includes Namibia, it includes Angola. So you begin to draw a map from Nigeria to Ivory Coast, from here to here. So that's a map of how you're going to achieve that. Or it is a revenue map. You're currently on 250. You're going to 1 billion. You begin to draw your map. Okay, in January, it will be 350. In October, it will be 800. By November, it's going to be 900. That's called a strategy map, as an example. So the how to move from where you are to where you want to go to, bear in mind the gap is called your strategy map. No too much English around it. Don't mind what we consultants say, right? But that's the basics as the case is at that point. Now you have your map. You have your roadmap where you want to go to. What is left is usually where a lot of organizations fail. It is usually called the action plan or execution phase. A lot of organizations, they can do very well. They call consultants, they pay us, who come and plan the strategy, but then follow through, not follow. Execution, the discipline required to make sure we achieve what is on that strategy map, we are not able to bring that in at that point in time. Okay, so this is what you need to be able to achieve it. So you put your action plan in place, right? What you do on a monthly basis, what you do on a daily basis, what HR will do, what finance will do, what marketing will do. You clearly state out what every stakeholder must do in order to ensure achieve that result at that point. And talking about results, that's the end of your execution. And then you say you have achieved strategy implementation. Now, what I've just given you is a nutshell, right? End to end of this strategic direction. Let's break it down. Let's go into this entire part one after the other. I'm going to emphasize on some of them where I think we need attention in. Because time is very short, I will not cover the entire 6. But let's look at what we can do based on the time that we have. So the first one is your destination statements. Remember, we say the first one is your destination. Where are you going to? You must clarify the ultimate destination where you're going to. You must define the future states, right? In simple, concrete terms. And as the wise say, a journey moves straight when the goal is clear. The journey becomes easy when the goal is clear at that point in time, as the case is, so to speak. So begin with the end in mind, so to speak. How do you want the customers to perceive your business? If you achieve success, right, assuming this plan is for 2026, by December 31, 2026, how will customers see your business? What position will your company be at that point in time? This is, right? What is your 3-5-year revenue plan? What's your forecast into the future? What do you intend to achieve at that point in time? So what are we saying? Name the success markers, right? Set measurable outcome so your steps don't wander about. Your vision must speak and your metrics must confirm what you're achieving at that point in time. Identify the forces that are going to shape your path. Are they employees? Without employees, are you going to have problems? Your staffs are resigning. How will that affect results at that point in time as you're making progress? So understand your opportunities and understand your threats as it is. And then choose your priorities. You cannot chase everything. It is not every business they bring to you that you must consume. Some businesses will kill you. Some businesses will they may give you plenty money, fantastic cash flow, but it will derail you from your vision and your objective. You will notice the year will come to an end and then you didn't achieve what you wanted, all right? Maybe you had a plan to lose weight, all right, because you feel you're a bit overweight. And then they keep inviting you to parties and you're so happy about attending those parties. Guess what? At the end of the year, you will move from 80 kg to 100 kg. Meanwhile, you wanted to move, your objective was move from 80 to 65. So it is not everything you see that you're going to choose. Then align your resource and align the people, all right? One last advice in determining where you're going to is map the road backward. Start from the desired future and trace milestones back. What will step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4 be at that point in time? And it will help you to achieve what you're chasing. Now, here are some points for you to ponder about. I'm going to give you 2 things for you to chew, so to speak. What is the purpose of having a business position strategy? What's the purpose of deciding where you are going to play? A positional strategy is where you want to put yourself in the market. Are you going to be number 1? Are you going to be number 2? Are you going to be playing to these wealthy people, or are you going to be selling to middle class? Are you going to be selling to the low-income earners? What is your positioning and why is it important? Well, the purpose of having a business position is that it helps your organization, it helps you, it helps your team to define very clearly what you want to be seen as, what you want to be perceived as. It clarifies the value you're bringing to the market at that point. And it guides every decision you make. It ensures that customers choose you over your competitors regularly with confidence. So when they ask any customer, why are you going to P4PE Institute? Say, well, I am going there because they know what they are doing. I am going there because they are able to support and guide me. So it's very clear. They are not coming to you because you are the only one that is available or you're the nearest one. Again, that could be a purpose that you may be choosing at that point. A second conversation around your destination that is important for you to note is, what are the key elements of your financial focus? See, when you're discussing business, it doesn't matter how you look at it. Everything rises and falls on finance. Everything is related to money, as the case is at that point in time. And there are a few elements, because without money, it will be difficult for you to achieve all the items that you put in place at that point in time. What if you talk about having the best employees, the most talented employees in the organization? You need money to keep them engaged, entertained, and also to take care of them, as the case is. You need to pay the best, as the case is. You're talking about branch network and spreading at that point in time. You need money to establish those locations. So financials are very important. Your financial forecast is key. Now, here are 5 things to look out for in your financial elements. And let me see. The first one is your revenue projection. How much sales will you do in January? How much sales will you do in February? What is your projected sales in March? What's your sales Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4? You must be very clear what those sales projections are. Don't worry, you don't have to be perfect about it. Just recognize the fact that you must plan for those sales, right? We must sell 100 million in January, 150 in February, 200 in March. That means by the end of Q1, 100 plus 150 plus 200 will give us what? 450. So by the end of Q1, we should have raised revenue of 450. It becomes a guide instantly because it's your positioning. It becomes your position. Your destination at the end of Q1 is 450. So as you're going month on month, you begin to ask yourself, am I closer to month 1? Am I closer to month 2? Am I closer to month 3's target? The second element in financials is your cost and expense. What is the cost of running business and your operations? And in every sector, every environment, people spend money. Whether it's in your family, at home, in your religious environment, in your community, you must spend, you must incur costs there must be expense. So what are your cost assumptions? So have you projected that month on month, it will cost us 300,000 to run the office? It will cost us 1 million naira to run the office. Or have you projected that your average cost is going to be, say, 10 million every month? Now, assuming your projection of cost is 50 million each month, have you noticed that your revenue projection, remember number one says revenue, and I gave example of 100 million. If you spend 50 million, you must achieve at least 50 million to break even in your revenue. If not, assuming you sold only 40 million and you spend 50 million, you see you're a loss. At that point in time, you must borrow to pay the bills at that point. And that's why it's important to be clear revenue, clear costs, so you know where you're going to. Number three, financial, you must be clear about, is your cash flow. Cash flow is money entering the business. And money can enter the business from several places. One, money can enter the business from sales of the products, services that you are involved in. Two, money can come from investment returns. You invested in some other thing and then returns are coming in. Three, money can come from investors or loan you took from the bank. So money came into the business, as the case is, right? Four, money can come from you disposing assets that you have. You have a car you're not using again, you sold it. You have some generators you're not using, you sold it. All those things you dispose of, money comes in from them. All those four I mentioned are called cash inflow, cash entering the business. Of course, as cash enters, cash also goes out. So there are cash outflows. There are cash outflows related to operations in your business, raw materials that you're buying, the cost of conversion, right? There's also the cost of paying salaries, the cost of rents, and all those things. So those are cash outflow from your business, including the fact that you may pay back loans, right, that you took. You may use money to buy some investment, do investments across in those areas. Those are cash outflows. So you must be clear cash in, cash out, cash in, cash out. And that's cash in and out. You must be clear month one, month two, month three. The same way your revenue and cost, you must check for month on month throughout that particular period. These are part of your strategic plan. Then at the end of the day, compare your cost, compare your revenue, and that's the fourth element, your profit and loss. What's your projected profit in month one, in quarter one, in year one? Be clear about your projected cost. What funding do you need? How much do you need to remain afloat throughout that period to achieve your objectives? These are the 5 elements that you must pay attention to. All right, so you can achieve this. So if I remember correctly, we said revenue, 1, cost, 2, cash flow, 3, 4, profit, and 5, funding. Those are the 5 elements that you must be clear about. All right, now let's move in. Remember we spoke about baseline. Now we know about our destination. We've developed all the numbers for our destination. How about baseline? All right, remember the conversation around baseline. We said baseline is your current status, where you are currently. How many people do you have currently? What is their skill? What is their competence? What is their level? How much are you paying them? How many products do you have currently? What is the sales of that product in the market? What's the demand for the product in the market? What systems do you already have? And not just technological systems. It could also be the way you're doing business accordingly. Are they effective in achieving results? How about your processes, as the case is? Let me look at these things one by one, a little bit deeper. People, what are the current skills and competency level of your staff? So find a baseline. Is there role clarity? Does everybody in the team know their job and the work they are doing are well distributed, as the case is? Not some people overworking and some people underworking. How do you manage performance of your staff and productivity of your staff currently? Are your staff currently engaged? Are they retained? What is the stability index? What's the attrition rate of your team members, as the case is? Those are baseline conversations on people. On products, what are the current product performance in the market? What is customer feedback on the products that we are selling, as the case is? How about quality standards, right? And defect rate. How many of our products are being returned? How many negative feedback do we get from customers? Are our products doing well in the market? Does it fit the market? Or the market prefers alternatives at that point? How about your pricing? Are you underpriced? Are you overpriced? Are you profitable with your products in the market currently? Those are questions for baseline of products. Systems. Do you have existing technology to create the capability you need? All right? Are your systems reliable? Or in your office, you use laptop that once you press one, we wait for it to roll. It will roll for 10 minutes before it does what you have pressed at that point. Is that the kind of system you have? Or your internet, it is like rain. It will give you, sometimes it will work, sometimes it will not work. Then how can your team members be productive? Each time your customers want to access your website, it says page cannot be displayed. Those are system issues as the cases. There's also issue of data accuracy and integration. Security issues. Every time you say they've hacked your site, they hacked you, something like that. Are you well protected in those particular areas? Then your processes, your internal processes. What are your workflow like? Is there a bottleneck? Are there people who are sitting on work? Most times they slow us down as the cases. How about your turnaround time, your cycle time? Is your system efficient in what they are doing? Are there seamless handover? Because in every organization, whatever you do in your organization, there's somebody that is giving you input. There's somebody that is taking whatever you finish at that point in time. So it's input, process, output. Now, for those inputs and outputs, are they seamless or are we dropping the balls regularly? Okay. How about rework level, variations, errors as the case is? These are all the things you check to understand your organization, to say you have done a proper baseline as the case is. Now, the next thing is to define your strategy. You know, say, okay, for our strategy direction, this is where we're going to go. And your strategy must be broken down into short term, which is about less than 1 year, medium term, 1 to 5 years, long term, more than 5 years as the case is. Your strategy should be broken down in those particular areas. It must be focused in 5 to 10 years. How will the market look at us? What activities do we have to do in order to serve the market? All right. It must help you to accelerate. It must strengthen you, and it must tie everything together that we have discussed so far. Your strategy should tie everything very well. I'd like to use my organization as a case study to give you what it means in defining strategy as the case is. In our organization, P4PE Institute, our vision is to become the most trusted HR transformation partner for mid-sized companies across Nigeria and Africa. Very straightforward, very simple. We are not chasing all business. We are not chasing all opportunity. But so long as you're a mid-sized business interested in transformation, we want to be your partner as the case is. Now, what's our long-term 5 to 10 years vision? We believe that we want to expand across at least 10 African countries with a strong partner network. So it is not necessarily us that will go to those African countries to open branches, but we are going to create partnership with various companies that are in those particular environments, as the case is. We're going to build a strong AI-powered HR transformation solution that is adopted by more than 500 organizations, as the case is. That's an example of a long-term goal, 5 years goal that we have. Now, our medium-term goal, right, 1 to 5 years, we want to establish a flagship HR transformation program in 3 key markets, as the case is. And we've almost achieved one, as the case is. We're also developing a data analytics unit that drives all our consulting decisions, as the case is. Those are our midterm goals. Now, what's our short-term goal in the next 6 months? Between now and, say, June, July, August, September next year, as the case is, we want to launch a pilot HR transformation framework with some of our select clients. We're not giving it to all the clients. We want to use it to test the market, as the case. And then we want to train consultants on AI-based HR diagnostic and tools. because they will need it in our phase 2 of implementation. So that's an example of this strategy definition for my organization. Now I'm going to share with you the strategy definition of a manufacturing concern and an FMCG that we did last week, and the result we got from it as a case. So it gives you an idea of what we achieved in those areas and how to define this particular strategy. So for the clients, the vision was to become the region's leading producer of high quality and affordable consumer goods. Either in producing high quality, affordable consumer goods as the case is. What's their 5 years plan, long term? They want to build a fully automated production plant that increases their productivity and their output capacity 10 times. So right now, perhaps they are producing 1,000 units. They say in 5 years, that plant must be able to produce 10,000 units in the same length of time and the same use of resources as the case. They also want to reduce their dependence on expatriates. They are currently at 60% expatriate. They want to drop it to 10% expatriate. So if they have 60 expats, they say in 5 years' time, they want to have only 10 within their group as the case is. That's their long term. Now, their medium term objective, they want to introduce a new product range that is driven by consumer health and sustainability trends in the market. And they also want to achieve ISO 9000 certification across all their plants so it can strengthen the credibility of their product. That's their medium-term goal. Then we also articulated their short-term goal. Their short-term goal is to upgrade their key machineries so that they can reduce downtime and improve consistency. They also want to strengthen their supply chain contracts so that they can stabilize their material availability. So when customers demand for products, they are not running around looking for raw material at that time. Can you see clearly how to articulate short-term, medium-term, and long-term goals? It doesn't matter your industry. It doesn't matter your organization. It doesn't even matter if this strategy is only for a team. You can also articulate the same thing at that point in time. All right. Now, our strategy map. So what exactly do we mean by strategy map? So a strategy map is usually a document that helps you to tackle problems from different angles as you progress in your journey. An example, your strategy map will help you to tackle your financials. Where we want to be financially in 5 years' time, your strategy map will help you to achieve it at that point in time. Or it could be your customer. How do you want to position yourself in the customer? What customer's mind? What value proposition do you want to bring to the market so that the customer feels safe, feels happy, feels excited about what you're giving them at that point in time? They become raving fans of your organization. In terms of internal processes, what are the core capabilities that you must be good at doing that is needed for you to serve the target markets, short-term, mid-term, long-term, that you're positioning yourself at that time? And then finally, what are the internal capabilities, organizational learning, from a people perspective, from a technology perspective, that must be in place to drive results? What are the assets? What are the people? What are the talents? What are the technologies that must be in place for you to achieve great results at that time? Remember, strategy is a roadmap for you to achieve what you want at that point in time. And that's why I usually say that strategy is nothing but cause and effect relationship between the objectives that you identify. What is going to cause those objectives to be achieved at that point in time? So identify the cause, the effective, right? The effect that you want is the result. So what would cause the result? Be very clear. I want financials, 100 million. What will cost me to have 100 million? I want customers that are happy. What will I do? What cost will lead to customers being happy at that point in time? I want turnaround time to be less than 5 minutes. What will cost turnaround time to be less than 5 minutes? Cause and effects. Just put it in place, and then you're good to go at that point. Now, let's demystify this strategy map as the case is. Let me take it one by one. Finance, customer, internal process, and organizational learning. Let's take it one by one. And this is one now leads into your scorecard, leads into your balanced scorecard and your KPIs as the case is at that time. Look at it this way. The first one is your financials. And when we're looking at financials, you have to think long term when it comes to financial as the case is, right? The first one, financial. Most businesses are focused on ensuring they are profitable. So their main focus is increasing shareholder value. The investors that put money in the business will want to increase their return so that they can have good returns in the business at that point in time. So increasing shareholder value is the objective. For a startup business, maybe you're a small business, you just started, you're less than 5 years in operation. What should you pursue financially? One, your objective is to increase market share. If you're a new business, a new product, a new organization, focus, increase market share, expand and increase market share very rapidly as the case is. Grow revenue, because most new businesses, some of you borrowed money, some took loans, some took all their investment, all the money they've been saving in life to start that business. So quickly increase your revenue, grow your revenue at that point in time. That's a critical objective of startup companies. How about stable companies? Companies that have been around for 6 years to 10 years as the case is. What should you focus on? Profits, period. Focus on profitability. How do you improve the profit of the business? For every revenue, every sales that we make, how much of it do we keep as profit? That you should be laserly focused on profit as the case is. How about an organization that is matured, more than 10 years old, more than 15 years old? Organizations that are 20 years old, they've been there for a very long time. What is their focus? They should look on equity, return on equity. Everybody that has invested in that company should be licking soup now. They should be enjoying the booty of all their investment. They should just sit down, raise their leg, and be drinking coconut. They must increase the return on equity. Two, they must also increase the return on their assets. Like all the equipment they have, each asset must sweat and produce maximum results as the case is, including human capital as the case is. People should produce results. That's an example of your financial. If you take this slide, you have answered the balanced scorecard question. If you can answer the questions here and use these things very clearly in your business, that's your financials in the balanced scorecard. So what we have established in the financials is just increase shareholder value. Simple. Your balanced scorecard is ready from a financial point of view as the case is. Now let's look at customer, all right? And customers is always asking the question, what do we do in order to satisfy the customers, our target customers as the case is, so that they are loyal and they are advocates at that point in time? What are you going to measure at customer level? At the customer level, you should be looking at, we must be a low, as an example, you can be a low cost provider. It might be your focus. We want to be known in the market as an organization that produces the most affordable product, value for money to our customers. Or we want to be known as high quality service provider. Our things don't get spoiled. Our things last forever, as the case is. Customers know us. That's what they know us by. Let them know us by exceptional service. Each time they take the phone and call us, it's like a fantastic experience. They just love it when they engage with us at that point in time. We must carry the mindset that the customer is right. I keep having this conversation in most of my customer service training. Employees say no, that the customer is not always right. What if he doesn't know any better? What if this? And they keep saying, what if, what if? I said, you must consider them as being right first before you begin to make any adjustment as the case is. It's like walking up to a king. The king is always right. Walking up to a king, I tell the king you're wrong. In those days, they'll chop off your head. So, sell and forget. Sell and forget. And what does that mean? Make sure you are able to provide the best value that you can give to your customers at that point in time. And this will help you to produce the best results you can achieve as much as possible. And there are so many KPIs that you can come up with under customer to be able to achieve the same results that you expect to have at that point in time. All right, now we've established clarity. Help our customers to focus, to grow, and to be happy. That's what we've agreed. That's what we've established as our customer perspective, so that they can be loyal. Because if your customer is focused and they are growing, they will be loyal to the business that is making them to grow at that point in time. All right? So let's now go to the next step. The next one is your operations, your internal processes. What should your focus be in your internal processes at that time? One, supply chain. What is the source of raw material? What is the delivery network for the finished product? What's the channel through which you serve your customer? As the case is, make sure they are top-notch. No issues in those particular areas. Part of your operations is new product developments. What is our plan for new product development? Do we measure either number of new products, quality of new products, adoption of new products? How about your branding in the market? Because branding and marketing are all operational, as the case is. Is your brand recognized in the markets, right? How much campaign do you do regularly? I am one of those people in those days that used to believe that there is no need for you to market. That once you have a good product or a good service or a quality product, the product will sell itself. Customers will come. Is a lie. Customers will not come. You must market your product and promote it as much as possible. All right? Because that's the only way you can continue to become relevant in the market. In today's world where the market is saturated and distracted, if you don't market, you will be forgotten. You will be lost at that time. Even with employees and their promotion. Some employees say that my manager will see the quality of my work. He will recommend me for promotion. I say it's a lie. You must shine yourself. You must tell the manager I am doing very well. You must show everybody in the organization that you are doing very well. Sitting down on your desk, expecting that you'll be noticed, promotion will be passing you over regularly. You must sell yourself, as the case is. Also, your production. How efficient is the production? How effective are your production processes? All those are part of your internal process. Get it right. That part of the Balanced Scorecard is done already, as the case is. Then the last part. We have established that for your internal process to work from a scorecard perspective, your strategy must be very robust, your execution must be very flawless, and your processes must be very seamless. So whether it is new product development that make the client successful, make sure you put it in place within your organization at that point in time. So the last part of your Balanced Scorecard, they usually call it learning and growth, right? And majorly focus on two things, technology and people. Technology, the right system, the effective systems that they are working as the case is, and they meet the demand of the organization as the case is, while your people is speaking to the quantity of people, is speaking to the quality of people in terms of competence, is speaking to the engagement and satisfaction of those employees, is speaking to the whether the employees feel empowered, there's a sense of ownership, and they want to do things at that point in time. Those are some of the things that your organizational learning is asking for. So are you able to manage resources within the organization to ensure you deliver all those results? All right? Do you have financial skills, business acumen amongst your team members? Is your technology system, whether it is internet, software, hardware, are they top-notch for your industry, your kind of business, and the target market, and your strategy positioning at that point in time? Are your employees, do you have enough staff for what you're doing? Or you have few staff and they are stretched and they are under stress? Are your employees competent enough? Are they well-trained? Are they well-built? Are they having the right certifications for the job they are doing at that point in time? Are they engaged? Do you have employees that on Monday morning they say, thank God it's Monday, I'm going back to work. I can't wait to get back to work and do a great job. Or are all your employees thinking, thank God it's Friday, good riddance, let me go home and leave this place? Well, I'm not saying thank God it's Friday is not a good thing, but if that is the focus regularly, then something is wrong with our culture, as the case is. So those are things to consider within your organization as much as possible. In summary, we have looked at the 4 of them, right? And the 4 things we've looked at here is our objectives. We have asked the question, financially grow revenue. Simple, period. Don't overdo it. Just grow revenue. You're doing well. Customer perspective, help your customers to grow. Make them loyal, make them satisfied. Finish. Your KPI is working well at that point in time. Internal process, your turnaround time, your seamlessness, your consistency, seen from your execution, the way you execute, as the case is, and your new product developments. For your learning and development, your organizational learning, focus on your management strategies that make the business to grow. People are excited. They love to be in that particular environment to deliver the results that they want, as the case is. This is how to track your strategy map. And you say your map, your strategy is working excellently well at that point in time. And then you say you have delivered great results, as the case is. It's important that you follow these steps one by one. Now, let me hand it back to you. How do you measure and track these particular things? And that's where your KPI comes into place. So I gave the first example, right? I said revenue. Revenue, easy to measure. You can measure revenue by Naira value. Is that not so? Yes. Or sales value. You can also measure it from a standpoint of volume. Maybe your organization doesn't like emphasizing money. Fine. Measure it by quantity sold, number of transactions executed, number of customers acquired, as the case is. All of those will speak to revenue within the organization. Then in customer, how do you track and measure customers? Repeat customers. How many of your customers are coming back to do business? You know that there are some places you go and do business. After doing business there, you don't want to come back again. Maybe it's a supermarket you went to buy something. It could even be as simple as the person by the street that is selling snacks. Maybe the person that is frying akara. The way they treated you, the way they spoke to you, and you will prefer to walk far to the next street to go and buy akara tomorrow. You don't mind, as the case is. So make sure your customers come back. And if customers are coming back, then begin to measure referral. Can you hear me? So I just had my own failure in terms of power. So I'm reconnecting at this point in time. Okay, so 1 second. Yes, so we're saying initially that we also have similar constraints as the case is in various areas. So how is this, how are you going to measure this and track it across various organizations within the things that you're running? All right. If your customers are doing well and they are happy with you, are they referring others to come back to your business? Then the next thing is your internal processes. How do you measure it? Turnaround time. 1. Mean time to repair if you're a service company. How long does it take you to repair things at that point in time? Secondly, as the case is. All right? Then your service availability. How often are your services available? An example is the ATM. The service promise of an ATM is 24 hours. But tell me, which ATM works 24 hours? Some ATMs, you will go there, they will swallow your card. Some will not give you money, as the case is. So you have different things that makes it not effective. And there are some ATM that you know you will not go to because you know it doesn't always have cash, or there's always long queue. That's an example of service availability. Then, of course, employees. What's the engagement index? How engaged are your team members? What's the competency level at that point in time? And we can also measure the same thing for IT, as the case is, whether technology is able to deliver the results we expect to deliver at that point in time for our various processes within the organization. Okay, so that's a review of what you need in order to put your strategy in place and then be able to achieve the greatest results at that time. So I'm going to give this back to you. This is your template. What initiatives do you need to do in order to achieve results in this particular area? Initiatives in terms of financials, initiatives in terms of customer, initiatives in terms of your internal processes and learning and growth. Initiatives are projects. They are things you put in place in order to support your organization to achieve a strategy at that time. Like recruiting staff is an initiative. Training staff is an initiative in order for you to be able to achieve the results you expect at that point. Those are examples in those particular areas. Then there's also the need for you to look at initiatives under customer. You're doing Customer Appreciation Day, right? Branding and sharing corporate gift items. They are all initiatives to ensure your customers are loyal. Doing, what is it called? Campaign, bonanza, all right? Buy one, get one free, right? Loyalty programs. They are all initiatives to get your customers to be loyal to you and do results that you want. Then there's also your delivery process, your internal process. What are some initiatives you can put there? Installing new technology, okay? To be able to ensure that things are working very well. Building for redundancies, ensuring that things are available to support you at that point in time. And of course, for your L&D, I've just mentioned it. What do you do in terms of learning and growth to ensure you support and grow your team? These are the various ways that you can ensure you achieve these great results within your organization. Fantastic. So thank you for that. And this brings me to my session coming up in December 29th and 30th. That session is called Developing Your Growth Strategy. It is a mind-blowing session that helps you to unlock the full potentials of your organization next year. If this is a session you'd like to be interested in, feel free to share with us, chat on this chat box, respond to the email that sent you the invite for this particular program, but get ready to supercharge your growth and to leave the competition behind. Join us for this particular 2-day session and you will walk away with a lot of unprecedented success. What will you expect from it? You will uncover your A game, techniques to drive growth and innovation. You will learn how industry experts and network work with like-minded individuals. You also get actionable steps that you'll be able to use to move your organization forward, as the case is. At the end of the session, you will get a toolbox or a toolkit that contains the 4 growth strategies an organization can implement and significantly see you 10x your growth at that point in time. We'll share with you about 20 profit models, different ways you can make profit from your business, 20 different ways that you can implement immediately. We'll also share with you about 6 different staffing plans, various ways to staff for your business without breaking the bank, without spending too much. Because one of our research that we do regularly every year is on salary surveys. And we notice that organizations are struggling a lot to be able to pay salaries. But there are good ways, there are good models you can use to achieve those particular things. There's also HR strategy models that you can implement, especially for the HR team members who are joined with us on this call. Next year, implement those strategy models and see your team members transform. We also give you an opportunity to get involved with a side hustle for yourself. We'll share with you different side hustles, about 12 of them, that when you do it very well, in 1 year, from January to December, by the time you get to December, you will be earning as much as 2,000, if not more, from the side things that you're doing as the cases, whether it is shopping, it is virtual work, it is data analytics, it is AI work. You will see what you can do in those areas. And for an organization, you can convert this side hustle into a side corporate hustle. We call it a side corporate hustle. And what's a side corporate hustle? It is not the main thing the organization does, but by the side, on a desk for one employee, you implement something that brings you significant returns, as much as 20 to 40% of the current revenue in the organization. So that's a corporate side hustle, as the case is. Then you have a free 30 days coaching session with me directly to help you to put these systems in place as you progress. Of course, there are other productivity hacks, and there's a free 12 months Let's Read book summary subscription you'll get, where on a daily basis, we summarize the book and give you something you can read in 5 to 10 minutes of every book, as the case is. And in 1 year, throughout next year, you will have read almost 250 books from our daily at that point in time. So those are the perspective. This opportunity is currently about 100,000 in person. You come to this office, we'll have that conversation for the 2 days, as the case is at Allen, Ikeja, or you join us virtually at 75,000, and we'll be able to have this conversation, as the case is. And if you feel this is something you want to do today, as the case is, this 50,000 naira just for today, right? Register today at 50,000, join this program, and then we'll be able to help you out as you make progress. Now, in conclusion, as we move away from this discussion, you must structure your organization for growth. Your organization must be structured for growth, as the case is. And every organization must have these 4 units in place: finance, some call it accounting, sales and marketing. No business without sales and marketing. Sales and marketing is the lifeblood of every organization, all right? And then your operations, whether it is your production team, your service team, as the case is, they are the ones that make the product or the service that you sell. And then finally, your technology platform and human resource, as the case is, that ensures that it works very well. Will your organization support your growth plan? Do you have a future state ready organization that is in place to be able to achieve tomorrow, as the case is? Take an audit of your organization. Or are you just throwing people around without any serious results in those particular areas? Have you provided your team members with the right training? These are constraints, things that you must focus on in order to achieve great results at that time. Okay, so I did promise I'm going to take some questions. This is a good place to stop for questions as we come to an end in our conversation. I'll take your questions. You can raise your hand. I will invite you to speak, to unmute yourself, or you can share your questions on the chat box, and then we shall respond to it. Now, while you're typing your questions or sharing your questions, let me answer the obvious ones. Will you get this recorded? Yes, at the end of the session, we shall share this recording with everybody who joined this particular call. Please ensure you send your email address right on the chat, and we shall send it to everybody who find their emails on the chat, as the case is. So you'll get the recording. This recording will be available for you directly, and eventually we shall put it on our website for you to review it. 2, will you get the materials from this particular recording? Yes, you have access to this material for you to be able to continue to work with it and then deliver most results as the case is. Thank you very much. Yes, thank you. Thank you very much. This is granted, yes. Again, there are other future webinars. In order not to miss any of our webinars, just scan this code and join a WhatsApp channel, right? Don't worry, nobody will see you on the channel. It is not a WhatsApp group. So nobody will see your number, nobody will see you, but you all are posts of that particular group. You can join and get those particular items. Free webinars, free resources every week awaits you at that point in time. So for those who join this particular WhatsApp channel, we shall post both the recording and the resource material on that channel, so you have access to it immediately, in addition to it being sent via email at that point in time. Okay? So again, we are here for your results to ensure you achieve the most from whatever it is you're rendering. So let me see some of the questions that has been shared in the chat box. Okay, so here the question is the 4 steps. Thank God is asking, is the 4 elements same as the balanced scorecard? Now, thank you very much for that question. Absolutely. The 4 elements are parts of what makes up the balanced scorecard. The balanced scorecard includes the entire process of creating it as the case is. The 4 elements are guides. They are guideposts on creating the balanced scorecard. And yes, we can use the balanced scorecard to those 4 elements: finance, customer, process, and learning and growth. They are clearly what makes up the balanced scorecard. If you can create 1 or 2 KPIs under those 4 elements and they speak to themselves, alignment, then you have a balanced scorecard in place. Thank you, thank God for that particular question. Yes, let's see, any other question? Let me see. Okay, say, how can an organization stay consistent over time? Thank you, Binna. Good question. Because drift happens. Sometimes after a while, you begin to drift away from what you're chasing at that time. And that's the beauty of the balanced scorecard, right? And the balanced scorecard is a strategy implementation tool that ensures you remain focused on your objective as the case is. Once you are clear, remember the process we went through, the 6 processes of our strategy map that we shared earlier at that point. Very clear about this process. When we went through this particular slide, if you remember, we spoke about 6 items that you need to focus on to be able to achieve results in this particular area. We said if you do this consistently, these 6 items, if you do them consistently, then you will not drift because you're focused step by step. You're clear on destination and you're clear on the direction, the route, the strategy map to achieve it. If you're clear in those areas and you're following it, you will be consistent. Now, what makes organizations not consistent? 1, they abandon the map and start chasing the map of another organization. All right? Maybe the organization, another organization is doing something different, and then you say, let's go and copy. Please be careful about copying what is not your own. This is what happens in the university then. When you just copy and copy plus matric number. Please do not copy another person's strategy. You do not have the same destination. You do not have the same baseline. You don't have the same gaps. So do not copy another person 100%. You can copy and paste special, but be careful, all right, to ensure you copy effectively at that time, all right? Yes. Any other question? Thank you. Okay, thank you very much. Our time is fast spent today, and we've been able to engage successfully in various areas based on our coverage of the materials. Lola says we currently use the OKR. Yes, the OKR is another form of performance tracking system, especially popular among startup organizations, as the case is. The OKR is a platform that says that you must focus on your objectives and key result areas, as the case is. Now, unlike the KPI that goes straight to your metrics and what you're measuring, the OKR starts with an objective. What is the objective that we are chasing, that we must achieve? For example, growth. We want to grow is an objective. So growth is the objective, as the case is. Now, what are the key result areas that will drive growth in the organization? Sales is a key result area. Customer satisfaction is another key result area that will drive growth within the organization. Availability of staff, especially as sales team. So that's an example of how the OKR works. So once you use it, it helps you to understand where to focus on and what to drive at that point in time within the organization. Thank you, Fumi. Lilibet says, how do we set realistic baseline KPI in organizations where there was no previous performance data? Very, very interesting question. There is no baseline, she says. So how do we set the right KPI since there is no previous substance, so to speak? I bring you back to baseline. So when it comes to baseline, right, you must, even though your organization does not have a baseline, for example, you're a startup, so no baseline. There are two ways to find baseline when you do not have a previous place or performance data. One is competition and markets. What is the market currently doing? What are competitors currently doing? Benchmark. When you do benchmark, you notice that currently this organization, their sales process is 200 million every month. So you have a baseline. So when you're setting targets for your employees, you not set 1 billion because market is doing 200 million. You not set 10 million because market is doing more than 10 million. So benchmarking is an idea of how to do it at that point in time. Two, another way to set baseline when there is no previous one is trial and error. You set the first baseline based on your input. What is our investment? What is management's appetite? What do we want to achieve at that point in time? An example, we have invested 200 million in this business. We expect to have 300 million from it. So instantly your baseline is 300 million. So you set 300 million at that point in time. Now note, these two baselines I've given to you. You will progress. After the first month, second month, third month, you begin to notice whether that baseline is accurate or not. You might have set a baseline of 200 and you're doing only 50. So your team members are always scoring 20 to 30% result. It is time to reevaluate that baseline. It is too high. It means that you do not have the capability and competence internally to be able to deliver 200. So you course correct. Or you have set 200 and consistently your team members are scoring 9500, 95%, 100. That means they are exceeding the baseline. That means the baseline is too low. So next time you set a baseline of 300 and begin to adjust at that point in time. So gradually you increase it as you make progress. Those are how to set baseline when there is no previous baseline. It's okay, just start. Start anywhere, all right? Set the baseline from anywhere and start and see how things go. If management is not sure what baseline to set and you cannot get data from outside, ask your team members. Some of your employees know what their peers are delivering outside. So you can gather those data and use it to set your baseline as the case is, okay? All right. Thank you very much. Yes. Do we have space to take one last question? I would like to end in another 2 minutes or thereabout. Okay, so like we said earlier, feel free to join the webinar channel so we can continue to share additional resources with you in this particular area. Just go to your WhatsApp, go to channels and type the number 80233. It will open this particular channel. You can join it as the case is, or use your phone and scan this code and you can join it at that point in time. Or you can visit this particular web address here, and that can also help you to join it. One of those, you can join it and then we can share those particular details. Once again, thank you very much for being with us, sharing our discussions and co-learning with us. I hope we have added some small value that you can use to continue to build your team. You want to learn this more and do it in a grand style and actually implement it. You want the tools, you want the resources, you want the plan. Then join the full session. December 29th and 30th, let's use it to close the year and then prepare for next year accordingly. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being my audience in the past 1 hour and 15 minutes. It's been an honor that I do not take very lightly for you to have created time to be here. Thank you so much, and you will get the recording as promised. Just share your emails on the chat box now, so that when we close this session, we can download those emails and then send materials. Thank you. If this session has been very useful for you, can you share an emoji and say thank you very much as possible? No, Chin, the code is 80233, right? That's the right code. And then you can use that to end. Thank you so much, and do have a lovely afternoon.